Hello, everyone, and welcome to August training. We are going to talk about how you can improve your sales or presentation skills, right? When we think about it, like no matter if you are looking for a new job, no matter if you are leading a team, no matter if you are presenting a specific service or a product, no matter if you are talking about yourself, no matter really what activity you're engaged, even negotiations, right? Whatever of these activities you're engaged, it's all about really how to sell whatever you're talking about, how to present it in a way to make the other person being like, oh wow, what they're saying is super attractive, or oh wow, what they're saying is something that I want, right? So what I want to offer to you in this training this month is really how to come from a point that you feel comfortable talking about and presenting, no matter really what is the topic. Okay, so we're going to talk about three principles that I have been using for myself and that I have also observed other people using to help them become more successful in what they are doing, and really to be coming from this point of service, right? For a point of giving something to someone rather than I'm coming from a point of taking or wanting to take something from you. So I want to share these three principles with you today. And at the end of each principle, just to make sure that you really dig deeper and to really use each of these principles, I'm going to give you a couple of exercises that you can do for yourself. You can go through those and then see how each of these principles can be really used in your individual situation. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first one really principle is stop thinking about the same. Right? Stop thinking that you're coming from a point of what I mentioned before. I want something from you, I'm there to take something, right? So instead of coming from a point of I have to make a sale, or I have to get a job, or I have to get my team on board, or I have to get my boss on board, or whatever it is, coming from I have to, this kind of needy mindset, I would like to invite you to really switch it to I want to provide the value, right? I want to give something, right? Or I want to see how I could be the right fit for this role, or I want to explore how can my team, what are their opinions, what are their thoughts, and how we can find a win-win situation for all of us. Or I want to be open-minded, or I am open-minded to talk to my boss to find different opportunities for both of us, so that both of us gain whatever we need to gain when moving forward, right? So again, this idea of I have to, putting this pressure, attaching yourself to the outcome, to the point of I want to give something, I want to provide value, I want to be there for my people. It feel already so much different, so much lighter when you think about it, right? Because when you're coming from a point of I have to do something, that means that you're very much attaching yourself to the outcome. And if the outcome won't be the one that you kind of imagined for yourself, you're going to feel very bad, right? Because you're going with the idea, I have to make it. And unless I have it, it's going to feel bad. It's going to feel disappointing. It's going to feel draining. You're going to lose your motivation. And we really don't want that. You don't want to go into the whatever conversation you have with this strong sense of being attached to the outcome. So your focus with that in mind, right, is not on targets, it's not on algorithms, it's not on numbers, it's not on any of these kind of quantitative, so to say, measurements, but your focus is on helping, providing quality, being there. Your focus is on giving, right? And then seeing and exploring further how can that benefit to all parties that are involved, right? So again, the idea is to go there and offer something from you, give something to the people who are involved, give something to the environment you're in, and then see, if you both can find the way to working together in the best way. Now, what is very, very important there is to really explore the belief that you have about yourself and about whatever you are presenting. Is it the service? Is it the product, right? You want to think about how much do I really believe that me or whatever that I have to offer is going to help the other person. Because if you don't believe that, you are not going to come across as confident, or that person is not going to believe that they need it if you don't believe that they need it. You know what I mean? Right? It's a bit tricky here. But like, if you don't believe that what you have to offer is going to help the other person, it's going to be very hard for them to see that whatever you have to offer is going to be helpful for them, right? If I put it in a perspective of coaching, right? If I don't believe that I as a coach can help my client, and if I don't believe that coaching will help my client improve their life in this or that way, it's going to be very hard for me to communicate that to them and to help them see how coaching had helped them, right? So you want to explore really, how much do you really believe that you are the right person for whatever you are aiming for, right? So if you are aiming for that new job, how much do you believe that you're really a fit for that job? Or if you're aiming to become a manager, how much do you believe that you are the right fit to become a manager? Right? So you really want to explore, and I'm going to show you how you do that in the exercise in a minute, but you really want to explore again, how strong is your belief in yourself, in your service or product, right? Because you really want to make sure, like, more you believe, more strongly you believe in that, easier it's going to be for you to communicate that with people around you. But then it's up to them, of course, to decide what they want to do with that information, and if they're on board of working with you or getting you on the team and so forth. All right. The next thing that I really want you to keep in mind, that I see that very, very often when it comes to especially looking for a new job, is that the idea that as much as they're choosing you, so you're choosing them, right? Maybe you don't even want to work with those people, right? Maybe you don't even want to be in that company. Give yourself the chance to explore, to go with an open mind. So if you're, for example, interviewing at the moment, instead of going to the interview like, I must get this job, what if you were to switch this thinking into, I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the interview. I'm curious to meet these people. I'm open-minded, and I'm very, very intrigued to see how we could potentially work together. And if this company is at all an environment and team, is the environment that I really want to work in. So again, it's both ways. It goes both ways. Again, if you go from this side, I have to, it can also come across as, kind of desperate. And sometimes it really, really does. So you really want to stop, reflect, check in with yourself, and understand, what is the energy? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings that I'm coming towards whatever I want to take the next step with? All right. So exercise that I invite you to do about this principle is list down all the achievements you've accomplished so far. I always invite my clients to do that. All of them, no matter how small they might seem to you. Maybe they seem small to you, to someone else, they're going to be like the biggest achievement ever. List them all down. And ideally, what you also want to do is that you want to kind of keep doing this exercise. What I like to advise my clients to do is to list achievements every day. Like every day you list 3 to 5 achievements as your kind of morning ritual with your coffee. And more you list them, and more you list them in different ways, more comfortable you become in kind of communicating those with the outside world, because oftentimes what we all have is that kind of in your head, everything is clear and you understand what's going on. But then when it comes to communicating that outside, to another person, it's like, you like words, or you're like, how can I say this? So more you practice this, more you will become comfortable in talking about your achievements, more natural it's going to become. So that when someone asks you about it one day, you will be like, boom, I just said it. And it came out so naturally without even thinking twice. Okay? So the next thing you want to ask yourself is, what value do you bring? Why are you the right person to lead that team, to get that new job, to become a manager, to take on the new project? Why are you the right person? What is it you bring? You can, of course, reflect or refer to your achievements, but you also want to refer to the next thing that is coming up here. What is your unique background? What is your story? What is your experience? What is your drive? What is your personality? What is your character? Why are you the right person? Why will they gain so much by choosing you? What do you have to give them? What is the value you can bring, right? How far will you bring whatever you're working on, if how far will you bring it if they were to take you on board, if they were to make you responsible for it. And you want to get really excited about that. You want to really be like, yeah, I fully, truly, 100% believe this. Like, it's a no-brainer they want to take me, like, obviously, right? And you want to, if you're not in that kind of state, you want to practice until you do get to that state. Like, of course they want to work with me. I have so many amazing things to offer. Like, why wouldn't they? What do you bring to the table, right? So what are your strengths? What is it you have accomplished so far? What is your factual, factual data that you can provide showing what you've accomplished so far? What do you bring to the table? And those that you don't bring to the table, what can you do about it? So this, for example, especially refers to those who are looking for a job. And then let's say there are a lot of bullet points in the job description, and you're like, yeah, I have basically more or less all of them apart from one or two. So instead of focusing, oh, I don't have those and therefore I'm not going to apply, right? Think about how can I make sure that these that I have are really, really clear, very concise, very simple for the other person to understand. And those that I don't have, what is the solution I can offer right away? Right? So instead of thinking, oh, I don't have that, you want to ask yourself a more powerful question, which is, what will make me get there? Or what is the solution that I offer for what I'm potentially lacking at the moment? How can I overcome that? All right, so we go immediately into the solutions mode. All right, so the principal one, again, stop thinking about the sale, stop thinking about getting a job, stop thinking about the outcome in a way that I have to take something. Switch it to the point of view, how can I help? How can I provide value? How can I give, right? And then apply this exercise on your individual situation. Let's move to the principle number 2, and that is listen. Right? Listen so much more than you talk. You want to listen. Now, of course, in an interview, you're the one who wants to talk. I mean, you have to talk, right? You're the one being interviewed. But that, again, doesn't mean that you should not listen to what other person is saying, right? You really want to make sure that you're fully engaged with listening. So what does it mean to truly listen? Listening is not only listening to the words, right? But it's also to the body language, right? To the words, to the pause, to the silence, body language, volume, pace, right? These are all the things you need to observe in a person when they're communicating a message with you. All right. There are a lot of research done on body language, and I would actually really encourage you to check different books that are written on it. I have one at home now. I have to remember the name. I'm going to write down the name. It's a really good book, which is talking about how body language is the majority of how we communicate. I don't remember the percentage, but it's super high, right? Mostly it's actually our body language. We might say something, but if your body, body is kind of easier to trick, right? So you might say something, but then your body is like, nah, I don't believe this person, right? So if somebody asks you, for example, how are you doing? And you're like, yeah, well, I'm fine. You would be immediately, so what's wrong? What's not good? What's happening with you? Why? I can feel you're not being really truthful in this answer, right? So you really want to make sure that you're listening a complete message, all the message that's been given to you by the other person. Another thing that you want to really make sure is that you don't want to assume. You don't want to assume what they told you, right? So they say something to you and you aren't really sure about what they said. So you're like, well, I think they meant this and that. Don't assume, right? Instead, stop, pause, be honest, right? Say, excuse me, I really want to make sure that I understood this correctly. Could I, please rephrase this, or is this and this and this what you actually said, right? So you want to pause, you want to reflect, and you want to be sure that, like, okay, so this is really the message they've shared, right? And you can do this by mirroring back. This is what I just did, right? So if somebody tells you something, then you're like, all right, so just to be sure, is this what you just said? Or I understood it this way. Is this correct, really, right? So you really want to give this other person a chance for them to communicate the message, and you want to give yourself a chance for you to really understand their message. And by asking them a question to follow up, to understand if you really truly understood what they said, this also shows a lot of respect and appreciation. And it also really shows that you are listening to what they're saying. And everybody loves that, right? Like everybody loves to be heard, right? And don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, right? Unless it's really, really necessary, because sometimes people get into the story, and it's like never ending. And you want to say, like, excuse me, can I stop you here for a second? But normally, you want to give people space. You want to allow this person to talk, because again, more they talk and more you listen and more information they give you, more you have, like more information you have, so that you can then continue the conversation in the right way. And this is bringing me to the next point, which is really about asking questions, right? And oftentimes I hear this question that I wrote here, but how will I know what to ask? You will know what to ask if you truly listen to what the other person is saying, right? You want to, again, really, really focus on listening and practice this skill. It is actually, tiring to listen actively, because you are fully engaged 100% with this person, but it's so rewarding and it's opening so many different opportunities and doors for you, right? So practice being present in your conversations, right? And what I really mean by that is that whenever you are, with the next person, I would like you to pause for a second and think about how can you clear your mind from any assumptions, any opinions, any judgments you may have, right? So you kind of go with a clear mind into the conversation, and the only goal there for you is to really be 100% with that person. No distractions, nothing else exists for you in that moment but that person. You're fully 100% there. You're listening to their words. And the moment you start noticing that your mind wanders, and that always happens, right? Our mind always works. You want to kind of gently bring it back to this person, look at them, acknowledge them, ask them a question, be interested, be curious, and really coming from this genuine point that you're like really, really interested in them. You really want to hear what they have to say. You love it. You want to be there. You really want to, not because you have to. I always come back to this I have to versus I want to, because it's so powerful. So you're not listening to them because you have to listen, but you're there because you want to, because you're genuinely curious to hear what they have to say. And practice acknowledging that person, right? This is very much, again, in lines with asking questions. So what you're saying is this, or what I heard you saying is that. Am I right to have understood this or that way, right? You want to acknowledge and show your presence to them, and show them that you are there for them, that you are listening to what they are saying. The principle number 3 is do a detox. And what I mean by this is that what I have observed, again, is less distractions you have, more time you have to focus on what really truly matters, right? So any distraction, any noise, and I mean mostly actually here about the online world, right? In terms of whom you're following, how much time do you spend on different social media, how much time do you spend, gathering different kind of information that is really not useful to you, how much time do you spend around different tools or different people or different environments that aren't making you feel good and aren't really contributing to your growth and development in any way. You really want to be strict with yourself there. You really want to be honest with yourself there and see, how can I cut everything that is not useful to me, and kind of without even feeling bad, because what is there to feel bad about? Whatever you decide to do, whatever you decide to say no to, whatever boundary you decide to set, how I like to view it is that has nothing to do with anything or anyone else, but this has everything to do with me, right? It's something that I'm doing for myself. And again, more time I spend all around, then less time and energy I have to spend on myself, right? On growing, investing in myself, in feeding myself with information and people and material and environments that make me feel good. Because more I do that, right, more I can give to the people and the world around me. So you want to be very, 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 very picky on, you know, how you decide to spend your time and energy, and really, really ask yourself, how is this serving me? Is this helpful to me? How is this helpful to me? And what could be better and more empowering ways moving forward? All right. Another thing is, right, comparing ourselves with others. This is something that, of course, we all get caught up in here and there. So in those moments, again, stop, reflect, pause, be kind to yourself. It's not about judging yourself or shaming yourself or criticizing yourself. It's really about understanding what's going on, becoming mindful about it, and noticing, right, like, what makes me think or feel this way. And another thing, what I want to offer to you is that getting inspired, it's so amazing and so motivating and so great, but not comparing your journey and your life and where you are with others, right? Because comparing is very draining. It always comes to the point, oh, they did it this way, so I should do it this way too. Or they did it, why can't I do it? What's wrong with me? Blah, 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 right? So like a lot of, again, heaviness and negativity comes with it. Whereas if you look up to someone and you're like, wow, it's so impressive what they've achieved, I'm curious to learn more about how they got there. Or when you have somebody that you're looking up to and you're like, I wish to be like them, in a way that you're inspired, not that you want to copy them or live exactly their lives, but you want to explore what is possible for you, right, by getting inspired by others. I hope this makes sense. Let me know. Let me know if you understand what I'm trying to say. That leads me, again, don't copy, right? You will never be as good. You are your unique self. So get inspired by others, but then apply to your unique self, your background, your experience, your personality, your character. How can you make it yours? Right? Because only if you make it yours, and if you focus on making it yours, it's going to come out as natural. If you're trying to copy someone, it's never going to look natural, and it will actually come across as fake, right? Because you won't feel as comfortable in your skin. So embrace yourself, your true self, right? And just think about how can you use whatever that you learned outside for yourself in your own unique story and example. And then bring power back to you, right? You want to ask yourself questions that make you the one who is responsible, make you the one who is in control, right? It's not the outside world. No matter how much society tries to put different standards on us, and like, no matter how much they're trying to make us follow certain rules, doesn't mean you have to live that way. Again, do a detox. Think about, right, what is within my control? What can I do? What is good for me, right? In order for me to become better in different areas, what knowledge and skills might I need? What support might I need? What do I need to do? What is within my control that I can take ownership again and responsibility of? Because bringing power back to you, bringing responsibility actually back to you, is powerful. You are the one in charge always, right? No matter what's happening around you, you decide how you want to interpret it and what you want to do about it. It's always the case. So the exercise that I want to invite you to practice here is really, whom are you looking up to? Think about, and it can be many people. Actually, normally it is many people, right? Because there is no one person who is amazingly, greatly amazing, in all the areas. So think about, who are different people that you look up to and why, right? What makes you be like, wow, I'm impressed with what they have achieved, or wow, this is really inspiring, or I would like to, achieve different kind of things in that area myself. And you want to study that person. You want to take a book and read their autobiography, for example, or you want to watch a documentary, or you want to spend time, again, researching how they think, what actions they take, what are certain habits, whom are they hanging out with, what are their spending habits, right? How did they evolve in their career in this or that way? You want to spend time understanding more about them. There is so much value out there in learning about others. And there are so many amazing and great books written about amazing and great people out there. And it's really a pity not to use that material to get certain new inspirations that you can then use for your own life. And you want to be really, really crystal clear about where are you headed to. And this is really, I think, one of the biggest maybe kind of challenges that people have, which is if you are confused about whom do you wish to become, or where are you headed to, or what difference do you want to make in the world, or whatever your goal might be, if you are confused, you are always going to get distracted on a way of getting there, right? Because if you don't have a clear vision, you will not be like, how can you make sure to take effective action to get to somewhere without knowing where you're going towards? You understand what I mean, right? Whereas if you have a clear vision, a clear goal in your mind, you are going to know exactly what you need to do there, and everything else is a distraction, right? Anything else that doesn't serve you on your way to getting to your goal is literally a distraction, right? So you really want to think about, what I really want you to do now is to think about your individual situation and think about how these principles, how does these three principles about focusing on providing value, right? Doing a detox and listening, how can you apply these three to your situation, to your goal, no matter where you're headed to? No matter, again, if it's you looking for a new job, or you negotiating, or you taking over a team, or you starting a new project, how can you apply these three principles to improve your presentation skills, to improve your sales skills, and to really, really focus on your own path, on your own goal, and to ensure that you get the people to come and follow you, really, but from a beautiful and genuine point of view, rather than maybe manipulative or aggressive or this needy point of view, right? You want to check in with yourself and again think, how can I apply these three principles in my specific individual situation? And if you need help to kind of coming up with a plan, or to digging deeper into understanding how these three principles can be applied to your individual situation, let me know. I will be happy to go through those with you and to help you gain clarity so that you really truly can get out there and use these three in the best possible way. Thank you for watching. Let me know what have your learnings been. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to speaking with you very soon again. Bye-bye.